Welcome back to Tiny Grimes Games, and I'm here with another Star Wars Destiny video. And today, I want to address the meta. And here's the bottom line to me. No, the meta is not broken. I've seen several videos and people worrying about the meta. I had my own take on where the meta was at before the Fast Hands nerf. I was very worried about it. I talked about a number of cards I would like to see touched up. I still think they could use to be touched up, but that to me is a separate discussion. I actually think the meta is in a great place. And to be perfectly honest, as someone going to Gen Con, I think it's too good. Like, I really would like to have the confidence going into Gen Con that my deck is better. And I know that in all of these matchups, it wins, and maybe there's this one matchup it doesn't, but I can hopefully not hit that twice and then get knocked out of the Swiss. But that's not the case. I really think that the meta is in this amazing spot where all these great decks. I think any of these 4 dice, 3 character, 9s decks are amazing, whether that be Fun Car, Rainbow 9s with a guard. There's all these great 9s decks. I'm under the impression that 9s decks are the best. That's my own personal thought. And I've been testing them a lot. But I gotta say, it's been rough. Like, other decks are really good. Poe Maz is still legit. Last night I was playing a 9s deck, and I lost 3 out of 4 to Palpatine in a matchup I thought was an easy win. Like, my buddy's like, let's test Palpatine. I was like, I don't even know if that's worth it. 4 games later, he beat me 3 times. And I was like, what? My deck loses to Palpatine? So, Palpatine's still hanging around. I think Phasma decks are really scary for these FN decks because they put out quite a bit of shields. They still do tons of damage. There are a lot of really good decks. Obviously, Emo Kids is still hanging around. I've never thought that was a good deck, but it still wins, and there we are. But the bottom line is, I do not think the meta is broken. I think the meta is really good and diverse. What I will say is this. In the past, Tier 2 decks always felt like they had a really legit chance at winning. So something like Luke Ray always felt like it could win at any moment. I feel like that's less the case now. I feel like the Tier 1 decks and the Tier 1.5 decks have distinguished themselves and put a little more distance. And I think that might be the pinch that people are feeling, that you could do a deck like Dooku 9s, which is a fine deck, and it could win a tournament. And like, that distance is widening, and that's not as possible. Like, a 4 character deck that does vehicles can still be okay, but I feel like a couple of months ago, like, it had a real legit chance, and now you're just kind of like, not really. Like, 9s is going to just chew through that. But I really do think the meta is in a great place because we have such a diverse number of decks at the top. Like, there's a lot of games where when the meta, it gets really solved, like this one, you're just like, there's the one deck, and then there's the counter to that, and then there's the one that kind of does okay against both. This is like 5 legit decks all duking it out. I think one of those decks will probably win Gen Con. I don't think we're going to see Rey Obi-Wan pop up and win Gen Con. I just don't think that's going to happen. I also think a lot of the top 16 will be the standard decks. But like I said, any Tier 1, Tier 1.5 decks, and there's a number of them I didn't even name that could go in there. So, bottom line is, the sky is not falling. I think we're in a great place. I think this Fast Hands nerf did a lot more than I thought it would. I thought it was just going to move 9s up to this unbeatable category, and you know what? It really hasn't. Like, 9s is amazing. Don't get me wrong. But it still feels like there are a lot of decks. I'm really interested to see what kind of innovations people have cooking for Gen Con, and I'm really looking forward to it. Hopefully, all of you are looking forward to it as well. I'll see you all at Gen Con, and if you want to check out what I think the tiers are, you can always go to Patreon, Tiny Grimes. I'm going to put a new tier list up probably tomorrow, actually. I've been working on it, so it should be done by tomorrow, and I'll see you next time on Tiny Grimes Games.